new now. This is Ozarks Fox News at 9.
Our top story at 9, a missing child found safe tonight shortly after an Amber Alert was issued.
Now, you probably saw that message on your phone around 6:15 this evening. Our David Chazanoff joins us live in North Springfield. Now, David, how did this all play out this evening?
John and Jen, I'm standing in front of a home at the corner of Atlantic and Albertha. This is where police say the child's biological mother took the 2-year-old and then drove away. Right now, 22-year-old Victoria Brown has pending charges for kidnapping. She was taken to the Greene County Jail after police found her and the child in Seymour. But here's how it all started. Police say Brown drove from Mississippi today to this house near the corner of West High Street and Park Avenue. That's in North Springfield, southwest of Kearney and Kansas Expressway. Officers say Brown then went inside and assaulted an adult with a handgun. She then forced the person she assaulted to take her to a second location, where I'm at as we speak, on West Atlantic, just a few blocks south. Police say Brown made her way inside the home, took her biological son, and threatened the residents inside with the handgun. She then got back in her car, headed east, and was stopped by police in Seymour shortly before 6:30 tonight. Now, thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. The 2-year-old child is safe with other family. Again, Brown is awaiting those charges in Greene County Jail. And there was another person in the car with Brown. We don't know what will happen with her just yet. I asked the people inside if they would like to comment on their side of the story, and they respectfully declined, and the police did also not give us any other details. But we can rightfully assume that the Amber Alert worked and the suspects were stopped. Reporting in Springfield, David Chazanoff, Ozarks First.
All right, David, thanks. Putting crime into focus now. How many times is too many times for a man who repeatedly watches in windows?
There's a Springfield man who's been convicted for stalking and peeping in houses multiple times, and he's received misdemeanor charges on all those. He
is now in jail, but new charges against Jamar Dye could keep him off the streets for years. Melanie Chapman has more on his criminal history and the impact it's had.
Police say there have been several peeping Tom, stalking, and sexual misconduct cases involving Jamar Dye in Springfield. Time spent for those that made it to court, only about a year. He faces new charges now in Greene County and has charges extending to Christian County.
You know, I don't know that it's unusual among sex offenders, especially if not treated, to continue in similar patterns of behavior. In this case, the number of times he's been caught or has been charged is unusual.
Greene County Prosecutor Dan Patterson says police and prosecutors take these types of crimes very seriously.
Because these crimes are committed at folks' homes, and where's one places we should all be safe, right? In our own homes.
According to court records, in late December, Dye targeted a woman's home with 2 teenage girls and a foreign exchange student inside. The woman saw the suspect outside the window and called police. The suspect got away, but earlier this year, police say he returned, and this time he was caught on surveillance video. According to the probable cause statement, because of recent peeping Tom incidents in this area, police believe the suspect was Jamar Dye. And police say they spotted him here at this bus stop wearing the same jacket as seen in the surveillance video from the recent victim.
So because this involves someone approaching someone's house, you know, in the past that would have been much more difficult to prove if the person runs away or something like that. But these days, with folks using surveillance equipment on their own homes, Ring doorbells, those kinds of things, it's becoming a lot easier to catch individuals like this.
In Dye's Christian County case, Ozark police say they took at least 3 calls last year about a suspicious person lurking around during the night. They saturated the area and identified Dye as the suspect through security video. The victims in these cases say they feel violated and are frightened.
It's very common for victims to have high anxiety, to lose appetite, or have difficulty sleeping or eating, and maybe even just functioning, getting into the car and going to a public setting. So it really is something that is significant to the victim and the impact on their overall well-being.
Dye remains behind Greene County bars while his case moves through the courts. In Springfield, Melanie Chapman, Ozarks First.
Ripley Entertainment has settled the final lawsuit in the deadly duck boat sinking. This final lawsuit was filed by the children of Rosemarie Hammond. The 68-year-old was one of 17 people killed when a duck boat sank in rough waters on Table Rock Lake in July of 2018. The amount of the settlement has not been revealed. 31 lawsuits have been filed against Ripley Entertainment in this case. 3 Ripley Entertainment employees have been indicted by a federal grand jury for crimes related to the duck boat sinking. The Ride the Ducks business is no longer open in Branson. Another business has taken its place on Highway 76.
The former owner of the Kansas City Royals and Missouri State University graduate David Glass has died. His family says he passed away last week due to complications from pneumonia. The College of Business at MSU is named Glass Hall in honor of his dedication to the university. Glass also served as president and CEO of Walmart for 12 years. A celebration of his life will take place in Rogers, Arkansas on Monday, January the 27th. Glass was 84 years old.
In education coverage tonight, the USDA is proposing changes to school lunch requirements. The proposal would lower the required amount of fruits and vegetables schools have to serve during lunch and breakfast. The proposal announced today would effectively reverse school breakfast and lunch standards championed by former First Lady Michelle Obama. The USDA says it's responding to requests from local school food service professionals, and the goal is to simplify the meals, provide flexibility, and reduce food waste. This rule will be open for public comment for 60 days on the website regulations.gov.
Well, this week in Jefferson City, a plan to raise the state's gasoline tax made its way through the Senate's Transportation, Infrastructure, and Public Safety Committee. The proposed legislation would raise the state tax on gas by 2 cents a gallon and 6 cents on diesel. State Senator Doug Liebla is from Poplar Bluff and says he is not a fan of sending more money to Jefferson City.
There's one department in Missouri that we are not sending record revenues to, and that is to MoDOT.
He says the current 17 cents a gallon gas tax is actually generating less money than it once did because today's vehicles are more fuel efficient than those of the past. House leadership has indicated there is not support for raising the tax from their caucus, but Liebla believes if the state fails to spend more money on repairs and maintenance, it will end up paying even more down the road.
Well, you could lose your life. I mean, we're talking about the safety of your families. We're talking about the safety of your kids, your grandkids, school buses. Commerce, economic development. You know, we're the crossroads of the United States. So we have got to have our roads and bridges up to the 21st century needs, and we're not.
Now, if that increase is approved, Liebla said it would cost the average driver $1 a month and would generate more than $100 million annually.
The Springfield NAACP is preparing for its annual MLK March this Monday to honor Martin Luther King Jr. This is what community looks like. That's this year's theme. Activists wrote that message on signs tonight, along with quotes from MLK. Despite the cold weather, every year people we spoke to say it's heartwarming to see the community come together to honor all that Martin Luther King Jr. stood for. One activist says it also serves as a reminder.
Because that is something that I hear from my kids, is that they feel alone sometimes. So coming to this march gives them a sense of belonging, and being able to see such a huge community support them is the voice that they need.
And we're not a post-racist society. There's still a lot of issues we need to deal with, and I think it's really important to highlight Martin Luther King's work every year because he was such an amazing advocate for civil rights and social justice.
All of the signs made tonight will be used in the march on Monday.
And speaking of the MLK holiday, the march begins at 9 a.m. at the Jordan Valley Ice Park on Monday. Marchers will finish at the Galois Theater for a program that will celebrate the community through the arts. Cold weather clothing donations will be collected for SPS students as well. And at noon, the Springfield Multicultural Festival will begin at the Oasis Convention Center.
Checking in with Beth now at the Weather Lab. We had a lot of rain today, Beth. What can you expect for the rest of the night and the weekend?
Well, the rain does continue, some heavy in places. That's why an aerial flood watch is in effect. We'll time all that out for you, plus a cold and sunny weekend ahead when we return.